Iowa is farmed. 75% of the jobs here have something to do with the land. And among that block of hugely important employees in this state, a politically important chunk that is women voters. NBC News political analyst Laura Ingraham took a look at that.
Far from the hype that dominates the campaign season in Iowa is a small town none of the candidates have visited. Rockwell City, population 2,000, a snapshot of small-town America in northwest Iowa, where family farms are dying and a once thriving community now struggles to hold on to its identity. Inez Lang's farm has survived the tough times. It's been in the family for more than 100 years. And it's where her husband Jack died of a heart attack 2 years ago while he was plowing the fields.
Thank God we had gotten things set up, you know, financially for our son to take over. And we had moved into town, and so we had a lot of decisions made.
Lang is just one of a growing number of farm widows living alone in this small community, where the percentage of elderly women living alone is twice the national average. These women have a lot to say about politics, coping with life on their own, and living in this small town.
It always tickles me when it's 20 below outside and you go to the store and everybody's cars are running with the keys in it. Only in a small town, Iowa, could you do that?
When there's a tragedy strikes in a small town, everybody is there immediately.
It's just the way small towns are. If you've got problems, the whole town's got a problem. They help you.
And what about all of those presidential candidates who show up here every 4 years looking for votes and political momentum?
Sometimes I feel like that they are trying to find the things that we're most interested in and making promises, which we know they can't keep, but they seem to try to appeal to what we want.
So who does appeal to this older farming generation? Even at caucus time, these women, like many Americans, prefer to keep their politics private.
I think you find in Iowa that people just don't really tell each other who they think. Do you?
No.
It's kind of a kept secret that we all keep to ourselves.
That way you don't get into a big hot argument over it.
But they do know the issues that matter most to them.
Medicare and Social Security and the high cost of prescription drugs and school and definitely farming.
And they all agree on the most important quality for a president.
Honesty and not lying. Don't tell us things that we want to hear and you know darn good and well you're not going to do anything about it.
Long after the politicians have left Iowa, the traditional farm values of friendship, perseverance, and self-reliance will remain.
We all have something in common, the same thing in common, so we all understand each other and understand each other's feelings, and we know that there's another life. We have to go ahead. We can't dwell on the past. We have to keep going, and so we might as well make the most of it.
Laura Ingraham, as we look at tonight and the hugely important voting block that is Iowa, who gets the best bounce coming out of here among the Republicans?
Clearly, George Bush does well. Alan Keyes energized. He just walked up, about to do an NBC interview, Brian. Clearly, George Bush does well. Alan Keyes energized. He just walked up, about to do an NBC interview, Brian. But of that piece that you just saw, small-town America, politicians are nostalgic for it. And as you see with those women, they're very savvy about political spin. And that's the reason all these politicians did all of their little whistle stops through these small Iowa towns. And they can all teach us a lesson about honesty, truthfulness, and hard work and perseverance. And that's what I learned from talking to that group of women.